WYLN, we're your local network.
Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Paula Dagnan. 3 people are facing charges after an investigation of child abuse, which began in June of last year. Yesterday afternoon, the Hazleton City Police Detectives Division and Luzerne County detectives arrested 60-year-old Brenda Parise, 32-year-old Amy Parise, and 30-year-old Sean Parise. The investigation revealed that 3 children were subjected to various forms of abuse, from beating with hands, belts, and a paddle, lack of care, and unsanitary living conditions during the period of time in which they resided with the Parise family. Brenda and Amy were arraigned and remanded to the Luzerne County Correctional Facility for lack of $30,000 bail. As for Sean, he was also arraigned and sent to the county prison for lack of $10,000 bail. Luzerne County Court papers say murder suspect Joseph Marchetti Jr. has reached a plea deal with prosecutors to avoid the death penalty. Prosecutors were seeking the death penalty for Marchetti, who's charged with criminal homicide and attempted murder for shooting his girlfriend, Antoinette Wilkinson, and beating her mother, Barbara, unconscious at a Foster Township home a year ago. Marchetti is set to plead guilty and be sentenced next month, just a week before his trial was scheduled to start. He is now being held without bail at the Luzerne County Prison. A Wilkes-Barre man will be sentenced in March after he pled guilty to counts of drug delivery that resulted in death. Prosecutors allege that 34-year-old Eric Scott Malia, along with 47-year-old Joan Rosengrant, sold drugs to 38-year-old Michael Gumier of Plains Township. Gumier, who was a correctional officer at a state prison, bought the drugs January 15th of 2017 and fatally overdosed. Rosengrant was also charged but died in prison in July of 2017. Malia pled guilty to drug delivery resulting in death and conspiring to traffic drugs. Luzerne County Judge Joseph Sklarowski accepted his plea and scheduled a sentencing date for March 4th. Charges were filed against a Tamaqua man after he made threats to family members in a Rush Township home. 32-year-old Anthony Kuiper went to a family member's house on Fairview Street last week while under the influence of drugs. He allegedly took a kitchen knife and displayed it, making family members feel uneasy. Tamaqua police assisted Rush Township police and took him into custody. He was charged with simple assault, harassment, and public drunkenness. He was arraigned and taken to the Schuylkill County Prison for lack of $30,000 straight cash bail. A Hazleton man is free on bail after an investigation into cockfighting by police and the Luzerne County SPCA. The SPCA was called to the Hazleton post office back on December 6th after they received a call from a person stating that there were roosters crowing in a box. Humane officers examined the birds and could see that they were being used for cockfighting and were scheduled to be shipped to Puerto Rico. They then traced the roosters back to 40-year-old Alejandro Martinez. Police found 2 fighting birds, 3 chicks, and 13 eggs at the man's home on Wyoming Street. He was charged with possessing, owning, or selling fighting animals and animal neglect. He was released on $5,000 unsecured bail and could face up to 20 years in prison. The birds are in temporary custody of the SPCA. January is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. A number of state departments have joined forces to educate the public on human trafficking. WYLN's Julie Stefanovich has more.
January is National Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Executives from PennDOT, the State Police, the Department of Human Services, and the Governor's Commission on Asian Pacific American Affairs joined forces to educate the public on human trafficking.
Understanding of the scope and impact of human trafficking evolves. We recognize that it is a complex web of exploitation affecting individuals representative of diverse demographics, backgrounds, and communities. It knows no boundaries, and it doesn't discriminate based on income status, educational attainment, race, gender, or faith. Additionally, it's not just an urban issue. It impacts our rural and suburban communities as well.
It is a problem facing law enforcement and affects all communities and cultures.
With any crime, and human trafficking is no exception, law enforcement cannot fight these crimes alone and must depend on our partnerships with the communities to be the eyes and ears for victims who are suffering daily from these tragic events.
According to Tiffany Chang Lawson, Executive Director for the Governor's Commission on Asian Pacific American Affairs, human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal industry worldwide.
It targets the most vulnerable in our communities and is destroying the lives of an entire generation of victims. It is a human rights crisis and not one that can be fought alone by local law enforcement agencies, and that's why partnerships like these around training are so incredibly important.
Trafficking survivor Tammy McDonald was trapped and exploited for sex for several years around the Philadelphia area, and now she is speaking out.
Over the past few years, this issue has come to light. For many of you here today, combating human trafficking in your workplace or agencies is a priority, as it should be, because human trafficking in America is real. As a survivor, I applaud the work of PennDOT Secretary Leslie Richards and her entire team for pioneering in this initiative.
The National Human Trafficking Hotline is a resource for victims and service providers.
Since 2007, the hotline has received nearly 4,000 calls that generated more than 1,000 cases in Pennsylvania. So proud of all the work that PennDOT is doing, and we have done so far. I know together we can help end human trafficking here in Pennsylvania.
More information can be found at humantraffickinghotline.org. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
A Hazleton area law firm has received over 500 calls from people who were promised a whole lot and got little from an auto mall in Hazel Township. WYLN's Gary Perna has the details.
The Slusser law firm has been fielding calls for the past few days from people who bought or leased cars from the Hazleton Auto Mall in Hazel Township. Recently, 3 of the 4 dealerships closed, leaving many with unanswered questions about services they were promised.
Consumers contacting our office, and it started probably within the last 2 months, where we were getting some calls, maybe 6 or 7 calls or so, where folks were calling and saying, listen, I'm not sure what to do or what I can do, what my rights are. Here are my concerns. This is what I was offered. I was promised this. This was an incentive for me to purchase the vehicle. I purchased the vehicle, and now these incentives are no longer being offered to me. What are my rights?
Slusser said they are just starting the investigation into the suit, and his office has been going through each call.
We're in the investigatory stages right now. Right now we're collecting information from those consumers that either leased or purchased vehicles from Hyundai, Kia, Nissan at the Hazleton Auto Mall. We're taking their information, we're listening to their concerns, we're getting from them their purchase or lease documentation. We're asking them to tell us about the incentives that they were offered and what their complaints are. We're going to take that information, we're going to investigate the viability of a claim against those entities, and hopefully we're able to assist those consumers, because there are a number of upset and angry consumers who are all similarly situated with regard to, again, these incentives that were offered that aren't being provided.
Slusser believes they can make a case under the state's consumer protection laws, because even if the dealership stated in fine print that they could discontinue the perks, it may not relieve them of their duties to do so.
So I think as a general warning, it's the warning that we've heard from others throughout our lives, which is if it sounds too good to be true, it very possibly is too good to be true. I think that I continue to hear, as I said earlier, the same story repeating itself, which was, I bought this vehicle because of what I was promised, and I wasn't being promised this by any other dealer. And this was the incentive. This is why I purchased the vehicle.
If you want more information on the possible case, you can reach out to the Slusser Law Firm. Their phone number, 570-453-0463. The Hazleton Auto Mall, which is owned by Michael Espinato, Antonio Pierce, and Jesse Armstrong, opened in 2016. The Hyundai and the Kia dealership closed in August, and the Nissan dealership closed in November. The Honda dealership remains open. In Hazel Township, for WYLN News, I'm Gary Perna.
And we'll keep you posted. Coming up on WYLN News, no Hazleton City Council meeting tomorrow. We'll give you the details. And it's not too late to get that flu shot. But first, before we go to break, a check on the forecast. Overnight clouds and a low of about 33, and not much of a difference tomorrow with a high of 34 and clouds. And the weekend, there's still a question mark. Stay with us.
SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Being a new business is never an easy task, and this market deserves a dealer that guarantees the best price. Some people think our $1,000 low price guarantee could be a hoax, but let me assure you that is false. If we don't have the lowest price on any vehicle in stock, we'll write you a check for $1,000, guaranteed. Check us out on the internet 24/7 at blazehazleton.com. And if that's not the lowest price, print out your lowest price and bring it in and we'll beat. No need to shop anywhere else. We guarantee the lowest price. Blaze Alexander, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Mazda of Greater Hazleton, home of the new low price guarantee. We'll beat any deal.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
Hazleton City Council has postponed their meeting that was scheduled for tomorrow. According to the council clerk, the meeting has been moved to Wednesday, January 16th, the meeting starting at 6 o'clock. It was moved due to a death in the family of a city council member. Again, the next city council meeting in Hazleton will be next week, January 16th at 6 p.m. Wilkes-Barre City Council has new leadership for 2019. Monday night, Council selected Councilman Mike Belusco as Council Chairman and Bill Barrett as Vice Chair. Both were sworn in by Luzerne County Judge Bill Amesbury. Council also approved their 2019 schedule. They're meeting tonight for a work session at 6 o'clock and then on Thursday for a voting meeting. That also at 6 p.m. Beaver Meadows introduced their new zoning officer at their borough meeting last night, along with reorganizing for the new year. Michelle Moyer will be taking over for Paul Katner, who resigned last year.
And we had difficulty finding the right candidate, but we believe Michelle is going to be a very good zoning officer for us and get her some training here. And she lives here within the borough, so I think that'll be very helpful as well.
Beaver Meadows will be holding their next borough meeting in February at 6:30 p.m. With the exit of Ed Brominski from Luzerne County Council, that now means the remaining council members must vote on his replacement. Our Gary Perna takes a look at the requirements in order to fill the seat.
Luzerne County property owners won't see an increase in their county property tax bill next year after council adopted their 2019 budget at Luzerne County Courthouse last night.
The Hazleton Area School District planning on upgrading equipment to save money on energy bills. The school board voted to make improvements by installing new thermostats, weather stripping, windows, and doors, as well as replacing inefficient light bulbs. The project is expected to cost around $5 million, but no tax dollars will be used. A state law allows school districts to do the improvements in schools in order to save energy and finance the work over 18 years through the savings on the energy bills. The board will also use the savings to replace heating and air conditioning units, a boiler, and air handlers. The upgrades done this year will save $247,000 annually. Secretary of Health Dr. Rachel Levine says the flu is widespread across Pennsylvania, with more than 6,400 laboratory-confirmed cases, including about 2,000 just in the past 2 weeks. 8 Pennsylvanians have died from the flu so far this flu season, and Dr. Levine is urging Pennsylvania residents who have yet to get a flu shot to get one. Officials also remind everyone, wash your hands, clean your work area, and that includes your cell phone. Governor Tom Wolf preparing for his second term in office. He laid out some of his top goals for this second term, and WYLN's Julie Stefanovich has more on what they are.
Governor Tom Wolf talked in Pittsburgh yesterday about his goals for his new term in office, which includes bringing businesses into Pennsylvania and creating more family-sustaining jobs through education and training.
Workforce development is really important. That is a bipartisan thing. That is something that everybody, whether you're an employer, employee, recognizes that we need. Because we know that when we grow our world-class workforce with a better educated and better trained group of people, then businesses are going to expand right here in Pittsburgh and all across the state.
The state is preparing workers through investments in job training and partnerships with the private sector.
We need to develop and to deliver opportunity to our citizens so that they can find meaningful careers in dynamic fields. I'm going to continue to do this throughout my second term, continue to look for ways to improve and increase the options for people who want to get good jobs.
The future of employment in the state will be characterized by 21st century skills in science, technology, engineering, and math.
Investments in workforce and job training, such as Governor Wolf's investments in PA Smart, are key to producing the broad spectrum of not just highly educated, but highly skilled individuals that are increasing in demand. At the same time, it's incumbent upon employers to forge bold partnerships with educators to provide real-time career awareness to help build a talent pipeline relevant to the region's workforce demands.
Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Julie Stefanovich.
2 state senators from our area have taken on leadership roles in the Senate for the new season. Senator Lisa Baker has been tapped to chair the Senate Judiciary Committee for the new term. She's replacing Stuart Greenleaf, who retired at the end of last season. Baker says she's hopeful that initiatives championed by her committee will eventually become law in the Commonwealth. Also, Senator David Argall will continue to serve as chair of the Senate Majority Policy Committee for the new legislative session. He was reappointed to the position by the Senator President Pro Tem. With the exit of Ed Brominski from Luzerne County Council, that now means the remaining council members must vote on his replacement. We now have that story from Gary Perna, who takes a look at the requirements to fill the seat.
At the start of 2019, Luzerne County Council lost one of its members, Ed Brominski, when he decided to resign, dropping from 11 to 10 members. Brominski was often outspoken and stood his ground. He resigned due to circumstances beyond his control, according to his letter. He could not fulfill his duties as a councilman to his satisfaction. He served on the first county council back in 2011 and was re-elected this last term in 2015. He had about a year left in his term. So now council will have to fill the seat. The requirements to fill the seat are: you must be at least 18 years of age, be a registered voter in Luzerne County, and a county resident for at least 1 year. You must be a registered Democrat continuously since November 3, 2015, the date Brominski, a Democrat, was elected to the county council seat he resigned from. You must also have no felony convictions. You cannot hold any other public office or public employment or serve on any county authorities, boards, or commissions, or be employed or compensated by any contractors to the county, or serve as a consultant to the county. You must also submit a statement of financial interest that will be a public document. The person selected to fill the seat will hold the position until January 6, 2020, when the term expires. Tonight, Luzerne County Council is expected to vote to formally vacate the seat, and they must post a vacancy in local newspapers as well on the county website. The deadline to submit a letter of interest and a resume is 4:30 on January 18th. Council is expected to fill the vacancy on February 12th. The deadline for them to pick a replacement, though, however, is February 26th. If County Council cannot agree on one person within that time frame, a Luzerne County judge will choose the person according to the county charter. Council members are paid $8,000 a year with the exception of the chairman. That meeting tonight in Luzerne County is set to start at 6 p.m. Reporting for WYLN News, I'm Gary Perna.
Coming up on Whitehaven's News Choice, a former gang member will be bringing his message of how he turned his life around to students. Where that will happen coming up. But first, in Community and You, Trooper Anthony Petrosky will be talking with Gary Perna about a state law dealing with your wipers. Stay with us.
Oh, what fun it is to save during the Big Finish event. Come into All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram today. Experience holiday cheer with the new 2018 Ram 1500 Crew Cab with Ram Cargo Management. Save up to $11,750. Or lease a new Dodge Durango SXT all-wheel drive for just $279 a month for 36 months. And get 0% for 60 months plus $1,000 in bonus cash. Oh, what fun it is to save during the Big Finish event at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months. I'm accident-free. Because I don't use my cell phone when I'm driving, even though my family does and leaves me all alone. Here's something else. I don't share it with Mom. Right, Mom? I have a brand new putter you don't even know about. It's awesome.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Visit your local Allstate agent, the McNeilis Agency in Hazleton at 1092 North Church Street, or in Hometown in the Hometown Village Square.
Northeast Gold and Silver inside the Churchill Mall is paying cash for gold and silver. Top dollar for silver coins. National currency. Fine and sterling flatware. Stop in or call them at 570-497-4177.
Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome to Trooper Talk Tuesday here on WYLN. I'm Gary Perna. Very pleased to have with me Trooper Anthony Petrosky from Pennsylvania State Police Hazleton. And today we're going to talk about a law that really is a common sense law that we should be following, but it's to make sure that anytime your windshield wiper's on, your headlights should be on to make sure you can clear the way. So Trooper, talk a little bit about this. This is kind of one of those common sense laws that we should always practice. A lot of vehicles now come with like daytime running lights.
Right.
So, why is it important to have our headlights on when we have our windshield wipers on?
Well, anytime there's inclement weather and, it's raining or it's sleeting out and your windshield wipers on, your headlights have to be on. Number one, it makes you visible. You might be going through certain patchy areas where it's foggy, this and that, and you're coming through, there's a construction area. It helps the construction workers out there see the vehicle approaching. It helps other vehicles know that you're there. Maybe they're coming up in the blind spot. Somebody's going to make a lane change. Your lights are on. Obviously, it's raining out, it's sleeting out, there's bad weather. Headlights need to be on. It's required. It's the law.
I know when we talk about inclement weather, when your windshield wipers are on, so we're talking snow, sleet, rain, anything like that, it's also good your wipers are on, defrosters are on, but you also keep that safe distance between you and other vehicles there, because with everything going on, if you're stuck in a torrential downpour or it's sleeting, the reaction time may not be the greatest.
Absolutely, and especially with the weather, it could change as you travel. You may be going through some areas, especially on the interstate. You could go through an area where it could be icy and you just came through, it was rainy. So again, you want to have enough reactionary gap. So if you need to stop, pump the brakes a little bit, come to a safe stop, pull over, you have that time. Yes.
And now, are there any rules or laws we need to follow if it's inclement weather? Especially, we see it change so drastically here, January, February. It's always, you never know what you're getting.
Right.
Anything that when we pull over, maybe it's just so bad we can't see, the wipers are going as fast as they can. Are there any laws we need to follow if we decide to pull over and kind of wait it out?
Well, there's not so much laws required, but let's use good common sense. If you're going to pull over, make sure you're far enough off the road, as far as you can be. Put your four-way blinkers on, so in case somebody else is going to pull over, at least they know you're up there and they don't end up running into you. And if you can make it off the nearest exit or off a side road or into a parking lot, do that. That's a little bit safer than pulling off the side of the road. But if you ultimately have to, pull off as far as you can, put your four-ways on.
All right, some good advice. So I know we're getting into the thick of winter, and we always seem to experience some good winter storms, in the first half of the new year. So hopefully, pay attention, take your time. If you have your windshield wipers on, make sure your headlights are on, and be safe while you're traveling here in Northeast PA. Thanks for joining us here on Community and You on Trooper Talk Tuesday. We'll see you next time here on WYLN.
At Grand Central, our family has been supplying your family with quality brand name furniture, mattresses, and appliances for over 3 generations. Whether you choose from our excellent selection of Lazy Boy, Catnapper, or England furniture, or from our fantastic selection of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we guarantee total comfort in every room of your home.
With expert advice, everyday low prices, plus interest-free financing for up to 60 months.
From our family to your family.
Grand Central in Hazleton. Everything to make your house a home.
Fast, consistent internet speeds, TV your way, and reliable phone service. All from the one provider who also lives here. Service Electric Cablevision. Connect with us.
Success begins at MMI.
If you're entering 6th through 11th grade,
come explore MMI on visitation night.
Experience what many families have learned.
An MMI education is one of the best investments you can make.
Register for our January 26th entrance and scholarship exam.
Visit MMIprep.org for more information.
A former gang member will be bringing his message of how he turned his life around to students at Marian Catholic High School in Rush Township later this month. Author and international speaker John Pridmore wrote a book entitled From Gangland to Promised Land. He talks about his troubled youth, joining a gang and spending time in prison before he accepted Jesus as his Savior and began working with at-risk youth. The speaking engagement is part of Marian's Regional Day of Prayer for Mercy and Healing for the Opioid Crisis. Pridmore will be visiting the school at 1 p.m. January 25th. Don't forget Hazleton and Myers basketball coming your way tonight on WYLN. And that's the news. Remember, you can always get news updates on our WYLN News Facebook page. Stay with us. A look at today's weather is next here on WYLN.
All Care Home Care, providing quality in home care since 1986. Call and see how their team of licensed physical therapists, skilled nurses, speech, and occupational therapists can provide you with exceptional service in the comfort of your own home. They also offer dietitian, home health aide, and medical social worker services. You have a choice in your health care. For safe, friendly, qualified care, call All Care Home Care today and let their team begin taking care of you and your loved ones.
watching Wilkes-Barre's Choice for news, weather, and live local sports.